Herbs, or herbs if you prefer. Herbs have a lot of different properties. They are medicinal. They also have a spiritual aspect. So today we're going to be picking herbs, and we're going to talk about the herbs. And along with picking the herbs, I'm going to give you a 4-card reading about what Spirit would like to communicate with you. So this is tea. And tea can be very medicinal. This is green tea. Specifically, this is an organic gunpowder tea, which is high in, it's a matcha gunpowder, very high in bioflavonoids, and those are associated with it. The medicinal properties of green tea are, first off, it suppresses appetite. People used to boil leaves in poor parts of the world, and they would drink the leaves in order to suppress appetite. But tea also contains active constituents that do other things, including reducing our risk, we think, for cancer. There's been some interesting studies on that. If you look behind you, I am a naturopathic doctor, and my passion is teaching people about the herbs and helping to heal people with the herbs. I have hundreds of herbs, and if you look behind me, you can see some of those herbs. So l'chaim, I'm going to take my medicine. Delicious. And we're going to have a conversation about herbs. And I want you to meditate, get yourself in a really good place. We're going on a journey together. And I want you to just think about how you feel as you connect with this particular plant. All right, so let's give it a shot. This is pile number 1. Isn't that amazing? Look at the size of these seeds. Kind of the color of chocolate, makes you want to eat it like a chocolate bar, right? So this is pile number 1. And if you resonate with pile number 1, it would be these seeds. Pile number 1. This is pile number 2. Look at those beautiful yellow-brown grains. Aren't those beautiful? Those are the stems of a particular plant. We're going to talk about that. If you're feeling attracted to that, if you're feeling of a strong pull to that, that would be pile number 2. Plants want to have a relationship with you. They want to help you. They want to work with you. They are connected with the fairy realm. Fairies, the Fae world, have a symbiotic relationship with the plants. They help the plant to live more healthfully. We garden. We are gardeners, those of us who garden and care for the plants in the physical world, but there are gardeners in the spiritual world. And the gardeners of the spiritual world are the Fae and the elementals. The herbs connect to us on the physical level. They heal our body, but they also work within the spirit realm as well. And they have a collective consciousness that is attempting to communicate and work with humans. This is pile number 3. Look at these dried leaves, aren't they pretty? If you're feeling a connection to pile 3. So let's go through this again. Go into an energetic space and see what you connect with. Do you connect with these seeds, pile number 1? Do you connect with pile number 2, this beautiful ground yellow-brown powder? Or do you connect with pile number 3, these beautiful dried leaves? All right, now I'm going to tell you what each of these herbs is and what it does and why it is speaking with you, okay? So if you picked pile 1, we're going to deal with pile 1 first. This is for those of you who picked pile 1. If you picked pile 1, you picked African dream seeds. These are African dream seeds. And if you pick them, it is an indication that you're being called to work in the sleep state. This could be sleep and healing through sleep, but also you may want to journal and collect your dreams, because African dream seed helps you connect with the dream realm. And the dream realm is considered in Kabbalah 1/60th of death. So you are being called to the sleeping realm. You need to sleep more. Maybe you are being called to have deeper sleep, but also to collect your dreams, to write them down, and begin to have further connection with your dreams. And maybe you need to rest. Maybe you're tired. All right, so when you decide to work with this plant, you will grind it. You can buy them online. It's not illegal. It's not an illegal substance. And you usually you would steep about 1 heaping teaspoon to a cup of water for about 5 minutes in a pot like this. And then drink it, and drinking it every night for about 3 to 4 nights, eventually your dreams will become more and more vivid. And this is a way of also connecting with your ancestors. Now, I also have brought some of the African dream alive. I have grown the African dream plant, so I'm going to go ahead and show you what that looks like. Okay, so this is the African dream plant. Look how tall this plant is. This is a vine, and it loves the sun. Look how tall it's growing so that it can get higher and higher up to reach the sun. It was getting so tall, I didn't want to take it outside because we don't get a lot of sun here in the Pacific Northwest. So it's not too happy with me right now. I think that it wants to have a little bit more sun than it's currently getting. But that is your plant. That is the plant that wants to work with you. If you picked the African Dream, the pile number 1, let's go ahead. Let's go ahead. We'll do the Empath prayer, and we will pick a couple cards as well for group 1 and see what your communication is, what they want to say to you. Okay, I want to call on white light protection for myself and this community as we ask permission from Spirit to access the Akashic Records. We call on our spirit guides, our good angels, to be with us. Please give us the clarity and the wisdom that is needed to empower all of us on our journeys, to make the best decisions for ourselves, our families, the planet, the people we love, but also to help those that we may have strife with. And together collectively we say Amen. All right, this is for group number 1 who have chosen African Dream. Your first card is Come away with me in the night. This is about walking away from everything and going off to seek a journey. You have the 9 of Cups. It may be a time for you to let go of the things you have held on to in the past. You may be called at this time to communicate with your ancestors through the dream realm and to leave the material world behind. That is your first card. Your second card has to do with commitments and possibly issues of real estate. And so you could be thinking about where you're going to live right now. Do you want to be stable? Do you want to stay where you are at? Or are you looking to potentially move? Do you want to be free, or do you want to hunker down and buy more real estate? That is certainly what I would be thinking about as I look at that card, because that is in fact a card that has to do with real estate. Now, if you're doing a 4-card throw, it is based on the 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th of a Celtic cross, and the 8th house I read as the house of opposition. And so for you, real estate and where you live is a source of stress. And it feels to me when I go into the energy for group number 1 that part of you wants to just let everything go and become a nomad and be free. And then another part of you is hunkering down, buying real estate, or digging deep into where you're living, wanting to just stay where you're at. And, do you buy, do you sell? But there's a deep part of you that may just want to walk away from everything and go into the dream realm, which is kind of interesting. Your hope and your fear at this time is your relationships, possibly your relationship with your beloved, relationship with a particular person, possibly a man in your life or a lack of man in your life. The King of Cups is also known as the King of Hearts. So it could be that you're having a conflict in love. It could be that you are having conflict with a particular individual that you have loved in the past. Maybe you don't have closure. Maybe you're connecting with this person through the dream realm. That's entirely possible. We do that. And your final outcome for group number 1, last message from Spirit, is issues of heartbreak. Maybe a feeling of being disappointed in your love life, disappointed in your relationships. Maybe it's time to let it all go. Maybe it's time to walk away. Maybe you're having obsessive thoughts about a relationship and you don't have closure. Maybe this person has passed away and you need to connect with your ancestor or this individual in the dream state. To clarify what they're saying, it could be that you were deeply wounded, and so you will find your healing and resolution from these conflicts you've had with other people and possibly relationships by letting it go. Maybe you need to simplify your life, simplify your finances right now, make yourself a little bit less bogged down, and use the dream state and possibly African dream seed in order to heal patterns. Maybe these patterns are older than just you. Maybe these patterns go back to your ancestors. That can sometimes happen. Say, for example, your mother was a maid, your grandmother was a maid, your great-grandmother was a maid, and they never broke out of that cycle of poverty and hard work and difficulty. And so the only thing they could teach you was that cycle. And so you become bogged down not only by the bad habits that you might have gotten from your family of origin, but that they learned from previous generations. And so that is kind of the mystical meaning of something staying in a family for 7 generations. It's when we take on certain pains or difficulties that were taught to us, and it was taught to those parents and those parents and those parents and those parents. And so for you, that is why you are being called perhaps to work with this particular plant, to resolve issues or conflicts you may have with your ancestors, to break cycles, old patterns that you took on from your ancestors, and to heal through dreams, and to let things that are causing you pain or that you are stressed about, possibly issues of betrayal, they can be healed by connecting with your ancestors and working in the dream state. And that is your reading. All right, so this is getting really interesting. Did you pick pile number 2? If you picked pile number 2, you picked ayahuasca. You picked ayahuasca, Aya, also known as Banistopolis. Yes, try and say that with a mouthful of gumballs. Yes. Banistopolis or ayahuasca is the vine of the dead. And it is also a vine that is used, or an herb that is used in order to connect with ancestors, but also to deal with the death realm. And I happen to have it right here. This is ayahuasca. This is the living plant of ayahuasca, and its stems are brewed in making the medicine of ayahuasca when people want to do journeys to the underworld, similar to African Dream, but this is a little bit different in the sense that it is bringing you visions and helping with your karma over issues regarding those who may have passed, or connecting with the death realm. It is a healing plant. It is a healer. It is also a purgative. So it may be also pointing to the fact that it's a time to detoxify and to purge. Purging is one of the ways in which old-time medicinal practitioners help those people who are holding on to too much junk, too much sugar, too much waste product in the body. That is when we often will call for someone to do a purgative. So that is what you have attracted to yourself. You have, and it may be time for you to do an ayahuasca ceremony if you haven't done one yet, or if you have done one, maybe it's time to do another one. If you don't want to do an ayahuasca ceremony, you may just decide to buy the plant, the ayahuasca plant, and meditate with the plant, because even meditating with the plant can be beneficial if you don't want to ingest it and do an ayahuasca journey. All right, so this is the reading for group number 2. And your first card is the Emperor. So you are seen at this time as somebody who is in a leadership position, and you are being called to leadership. You're called to be the boss, you're called to be the head of the tribe, and you are called to be reasonable. When we think about the Emperor card, we think about the executive branch of the brain. We're talking about being logical, being practical, and being reasonable. So this is a time in your life when you want to think about being grounded and taking charge of your situation. This is a time to take charge of your situation. Your house of opposition at this time is the victory of those that you are having conflict with. Maybe you have surrounded yourself by immature people, or maybe you have surrounded yourself by people who do not respect your authority. People who have gone off and been happy in their life, and that's great, but this stands in the house of opposition. And because you are presenting as somebody who is in a position of power and authority, while this other person is going off happily and gallivanting, it could be a sense that now is the time for you to take control over a situation and be the leader. If you run a business, be the leader. If you are the person in charge, then be in charge. If you are the parent, be the parent. If you are the doctor, be the doctor, right? If you are the healer, be the healer. And so this is calling you at this time to take on a leadership role and to not shirk your power as a leader. Your hopes and fears at this time is having to let people or situations go that currently don't serve you. The Hanged Man. Think about what you are letting go of. It's like Swedish death cleaning, right? When we try to make sure our home doesn't have a lot of mess or junk in it, we have to ask ourselves, does this serve me, or is it time to get rid of it? And that's kind of what this is saying to you. Use your executive branch. Don't respond in an emotional way, and instead simply look at your life objectively as you clear out your life and ask yourself, am I letting go of this based on emotionalism, or am I letting go of this based on the fact that it genuinely doesn't serve me? So try, as you weed through your life, ask yourself if it serves you, but do so in a manner that is based on a mature, responsible decision, and not based on just emotionalism. And your final card is the World. Good things are coming your way. The world could also indicate actual physically going out and seeing the world. Maybe you'll do some traveling this year. But what's interesting about this juxtaposition is that it sees you as potentially being in a leadership position. Maybe you started your own business, or maybe you have to just take control of things in your life that you don't want to take control over. But be rational. Don't be hyper emotional at this time as you get rid of things that don't serve you, and you will be lighter and happier because of it. And you may be called at this time by the plant ayahuasca, and for that reason, it may be time for you to do an ayahuasca ceremony. Many people get the calling to do ayahuasca, and remember, it is a purgative. And so, because you got the hangman in your cards, it could also be an indication that this is a time when you are purging and letting things go. And that is why ayahuasca came to you, as a purgative, as a way of connecting with the realms, not only to heal your life, but also to purge and remove those things from your life that don't serve you. But be rational and reasonable and not emotional when you make that decision. All right, and so we have the final. Now, my question to you is, did you recognize this plant? It's a very popular plant. I'm just wondering if any of you recognized it. This is for group number 3. This is white sage. This is white sage, and white sage is often used for purification. It's an antimicrobial. It's often used when we have upper respiratory infections, Greek sage. These are medicinal herbs. They're drying, so they can help dry mucus. It's also good for acne. If you have staph and acne on the face, the drying of sage can be used to remove the oil in the sebaceous glands. If you have a young person experiencing acne, then we recommend doing sage wash. Boil the water and then rinse the face with the sage water, and you'll find it very drying and helpful for removing of acne. If it was called to you at this time, it could be that now is the time for protection and purification. You can drink the tea for purification, but you can also burn sage. If you have negative energy around you, then burning sage can be helpful for that reason. It's a sign that you need to protect yourself, possibly your immune system, but also energetic protection. And I happen to have some sage right here. And this is sage. This is a beautiful plant. I absolutely love sage, and I love the way it tastes. I love sage tea. This is also called Salvia officinalis, this particular type of sage. This is a culinary sage I have growing. And of course, I absolutely love cooking with sage. And I also love drinking sage tea. Absolutely love sage tea. And this particular sage, of course, is the Greek sage, but the white sage is also wonderful for, excuse me, for burning to remove negative energy. So again, it purifies, it cleanses, both internally if you're fighting an actual infection. It's interesting that I coughed when I was working with the sage. But also it will purify your home and remove negative energies as well. Yeah. All right, so for group number 3, let's go ahead and let's see what your message is from Spirit. What is the message for group 3? A need for spiritual protection at this time, and slow and steady wins the race. Now is the time to slow down and assess your situation with the Knight of Pentacles. Could be an indication that things are going nowhere, or that it is time for things to end, or that you just need to slow things down and survey your current situation. Slow down, stop what you're doing, and take a really hard look at what is going on in your life. So it's an indication to stop and take a look at your life, and maybe there are things you need to change up in your life, who knows? But it is the night that stops, and these are Clydesdale, they're heavy-footed, and they don't move. And the house of opposition is, again, a deep need to slow down. Meditation is key right now. And, purify yourself right now. Now is a time of meditation, slowing down, and purification. Your hope and fear at this time is, there is love abounding. Love is coming to you. You have hopes and fears of new love. Maybe you need to take it slow, a new relationship. Sometimes, for me, a new relationship usually involves adopting a new animal. I'm a huge fan of rescuing cats, dogs, pigeons, you name it, I have rescued it. Frogs, anything and everything. And so Ace of Cups is about love and an abundance of love, spiritual love, abundant love, and it is what you hope for and it is what you fear. It is what you hope and what you fear. You're being advised to meditate, do the inner work, purify and protect yourself from negative forces at this time, and be open to love. And those things that hold you back from love, you will take the weapons of war away from your enemies. Take the weapons of war away from your enemies. By taking it slow, by slowing down, you will be able to be more meticulous in your life, and you don't have to do everything quickly. Sometimes the more effective way of doing things is by doing them slowly. And that is what they're saying. Be slow, be meticulous, and don't be messy. Now is the time to be clean, to purify your life, to clean up your life, but also to be slow and steady. Deep meditation and spiritual work is called for at this time. And regarding any new relationships or new loves, by taking it slow and steady and honest work, then you will drive the demons or the negativity away from you simply by being more meticulous. You have a heavy load over you, and the purification work and slow and steady wins the race is the way to overcome all of the obstacles. Remember the saying, how do you eat an elephant? You eat an elephant one bite at a time. Kind of reminds me of when I decided I wanted to be a doctor. I actually wrote 213 credits, because that's how many credits I needed in order to be a doctor. Think about that, 213 credits. So I had to do 90 in my undergrad, 90 in my graduate, that was 180. No, it must have been more than 230, because then I had like 200 in medical school, so it was probably like 400 and something, but it was probably 213 to get into medical school now that I'm thinking about it, because 90 associates and then 90 for your BA is 180. So, and I think with additional classes, it was 213 to get into medical school. That's right. So I just took I take a class, it was 3 credits. I'd take another class, it'd be 5 credits. Lopity, lopity, lopity. 213 credits later, you're applying to medical school, and then you begin that hurdle, right? So in order to take the weapons of war away, in order to accomplish everything that you want to accomplish, do deep spiritual work, do internal spiritual healing work, but also do not concern yourself about the heavy load, because slow and steady wins the race. All right, there you have it. Those are your pick a card, your tarot reading with communication with the plant realm. I hope that today's readings gave you guidance and clarity as you move on in your spiritual journey. If you need to see me as a medical intuitive or as a tarot card reader, or maybe both, you can find all that information by booking me through Booksy, Dr. Whimsy Anderson. I do telemedicine, and all of that information is below, along with remote viewing and tarot card reading. All right. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Be kind to all so that all will be kind to you, too. God bless. Peace out. We'll see you next time. Bye, everyone. Thanks a lot.